In this section of the course, we'll see an application of calculus to economic questions. It's a fact of life that the prices of things change, and when they do, the number of people who buy those things changes too. Economists often talk about demand curves when they want to understand how consumers will react to a change in price. In this module, we'll explore this idea in the context of public transportation and subway fares in Boston and New York City. From the data, we'll develop a model to relate price and demand and see what it tells us. Jennifer Kizza, a former Harvard undergraduate, will be our host for this Tale of Two Cities. I'll be here to give more mathematical details, and we'll hear from Kiran Gajwani, an economist at Harvard, to get some broader economic context and implications for questions of price and demand. For this section, you'll need to be comfortable with the basics of derivatives and using them to find the max or min of functions. So let's get started.
Every day across the world, millions of people use public transportation systems to get where they need to go. Increasing the cost of riding public transportation, be it bus, subway, or rail, can have a big effect on riders. In Boston, the public transportation system is known as the MBTA, or T for short. It's quite common to hear that the MBTA is considering fare increases. Over the past couple of decades, Boston has considered changing their fare over 16 times. What's surprising is that 3 of those times, Boston has actually decreased fares. This happened most recently in the 1980s. In 1979, the price of the subway in Boston was 25 cents. In 1980, the price went up to 50 cents and then to 75 cents in 1981. But a year later, in 1982, the fare went down to 60 cents. Now, you may be wondering, how common is it for transit fares to go down? Let's compare it to New York City, another East Coast city in the US. In that same time period we talked about, in 1979, when Boston was at 25 cents, New York was at 50 cents. In 1980, the New York fare went up to 60 cents and then went up again in 1981 to 75 cents, where it stayed for the next 3 years before increasing yet again. So here's a question. Why? Why did the 75-cent fare stick in New York, but not in Boston? Let's take a couple of minutes and explore what might be happening here.